Hello, we are back and it is the 31st of March, the last day of March in 2020.
Yeah.
March feels like it has gone on for about 3.5 years now. But yes, so we are on day 11 of lockdown, which might be partly why March feels like it's gone on for many, many years. However, so Ellie and Chris here again saying hello. Say hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
But yeah, we're just kind of saying that I do think we're getting into the swing of it. I think, maybe I'm greatly mistaken, but for now, the last few days sort of haven't felt quite so locked in. Sort of kind of a bit more used to it, and also have been taking much more advantage of FaceTiming with friends and chatting and being quite sociable, and it feeling quite sociable rather than awkward. Maybe I think in the first week perhaps we were trying to be too inventive with socialising, so we'll all get together and play this game, or we'll do this using technology, and that actually then got a bit frustrating. But actually just talking on the phone with your friends
have a chat, guys.
Is quite nice.
Just have a chat.
Although particularly FaceTiming, I think. I think that feels more like a chat, but that might be due to my previously mentioned hatred of talking on the phone. But
we did do a quiz though tonight,
yes.
And I think we had ironed out some of the kinks from
previous attempts at doing groups of quizzes. Yeah, I think basically the thing that made it tricky is trying to have several people in different places working as a team on a quiz with a quizmaster who is not waiting for you to be ready. So if we're playing one online, they're obviously like doing it to several, I think it broke like about 1,500 at one point, the quiz that Comedy Lopez did, which was great, but it did mean that sort of if the three different, because it was us here, Mum on her own, Alan on his own, and Sarah on her own. So if we were sort of having a chat about comparing answers and stuff,
over each other. I'm demonstrating that now.
Yeah. So yeah, if that was going on, it kind of then if we fell behind, I was like, hang on, I haven't got answer. What was question 2? Look. So yeah, I got a bit stressy. Whereas tonight it was sort of all of us in one WhatsApp group, and basically the quizmaster was in the group as well, gave the questions, waited till everybody had sent them to her, and then everybody marked themselves, and then we sort of went through it. And it was really fun. It was really good. I think we'll make a regular thing of that. We did another one of those last week, and I think this week's went even smoother. So I'm going to do next week's. So that gives me a bit of a project to work on. I have started on it, but actually just something like that that's a bit productive but isn't too taxing. I can sort of spend half an hour going, right, okay, I'll do a few questions for the quiz. Gives you a little bit of a sort of sense of achievement, because that is the level that we are dealing with now, of just tasks to be done. Yet the house is getting messier and messier by the day.
Yeah.
So the tidying and housework is not going to the top of the list.
It's really just going, I really could do with something to kill the time. You know, always do some cleaning. No, that's not it.
That's not it.
That's not going to scratch that itch, is it? So I've just started a Final Fantasy VII, a lengthy RPG video game, so that'll keep me going for a bit.
And I've just been told by yourself that you can play Skyrim on the Switch, so I'm all about that. I can lose weeks doing that, so that's fine. That's going to keep me entertained. So we just did the quiz, and then after that I knew I was going to be chatting to you guys, so I sort of practiced what I preach and went, okay, I'm going to treat it like I am getting up and going out, so full face of makeup, done my hair, if you can tell, and sort of I think that really does genuinely make a bit of a difference to your mental health. Obviously chaps don't tend to do that anyway, but yeah, just sort of getting up, getting washed, putting clothes on. I am wearing pajama bottoms though, but you can't see them, haha. So yeah, from the waist up, I'm even wearing a bra for you guys.
God,
so you're welcome.
From the waist up. You wouldn't want to see us from the waist down, would you?
Maybe they would.
It's an absolute shit show. But
yeah, that's just for us to enjoy. But yeah, so I kind of struggled a little bit, because most days I've been thinking to myself, we've got to talk about that, and got to talk about that. And a couple of times we've run out of time and gone, we didn't actually get to talking about that, so we'll talk about it tomorrow. But actually today I sort of feel like we rambled at you yesterday, and yesterday was barely talking about the real world and was mainly us doing slightly sketchy film reviews of some slightly sketchy films.
Ellie still hasn't watched.
I still haven't watched The Room.
And if you're as disappointed about that as I am, then do sound off in the comments.
Yeah,
as I believe people say.
Actually, do tell us if you're watching this, because a few people comment and but I kind of want to know who knows what, because if it's people who know me, I want to know if I need to be careful what I say about them. So let me know if I need to be nice about you. I haven't got in trouble for the belly hair conversation yet, so I think that's allowed, but I didn't name names. But they know who they are, and I know who you are. But yeah, so I think, sort of, as I say, kind of getting into the swing of it. And tomorrow, because it's been 7 days since I had a bit of a scratchy throat and a bit of a tight chest, which didn't come to anything, but following official guidelines, 7 days of self-isolation if you have shown any symptoms. So I've been very good. I have not been anywhere where there are people for a week. So tomorrow I get to go to the shop, and I'm very excited about this. Not the supermarket. I'm getting to go to the sort of essentially the corner shop, but we are quite lucky because there's a sort of a Tesco Express, so it's quite a good local shop. And then there's also one that used to be a Spar, but it's now independently owned, so that's corner shop-esque. So I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna hit both, and then come back. So look for goodies and see what's there, because desperately low on wine now. We did actually get my mum to do a wine run because we ran out, and that's not on. Like, the only thing that I think would upset me more is running out of tea, because I do drink a lot of tea, and I've noticed I do it as a boredom activity as well, of just, you know, that moment of sort of, oh, right, this will punctuate my day a little bit. All right, cup of tea. Oh, I finished my tea. Make another cup of tea. So yeah, if I ran out of tea bags, I would be, if I ran out of tea bags and wine, Jesus, you would be having a very miserable time of it.
Yeah.
If I ran out of both.
I'm going to have to make a list, I think, of things that I want you to get.
Yes, and I will be quite thorough, I think. I will enjoy every minute in the shop. Go, ooh, other things that I haven't looked at for a whole week.
I know, I'm still not allowed to the shop because
I had a scratchy throat.
And I have to now wait another 7 days just in case I develop any symptoms. Which, sod's law, I'll suddenly get another unrelated
on day
cough
6
on
you'll
day
get
7.
a cough.
And
hopefully you won't. But yeah, we're being good. We're following the rules, and that's what I'd advise everybody to do. Because I am now almost 100% certain it probably wasn't COVID. But I can't be certain, and just be better safe than sorry. Yeah. I don't want to go to the shop and have touched my face and then touch a bottle of wine, which I then put back. That doesn't happen. And then some poor little old lady comes and buys that wine, and then I kill her.
So it's not worth the risk. We've got to be super careful.
Yeah, if particularly, I do understand if you live on your own and you don't have people to help you, then you might take that risk. But what I would say is reach out to people, because there probably are people who would be more than happy to help you. They might just not know that you could do with it. So if you've got friends or neighbours or there might be somebody who's going anyway, and all you've got to do is, as you see them, like, wave from the window, and like, I'm sure people do seem to be clubbing together, grouping together, and looking after each other pretty well. There are people who are being scumbags, as there will always be people who crop up out of the nooks and crannies and take advantage of a terrible situation. It happens whenever there's any kind of big disaster. You find people being dicks. So there have been people sort of taking advantage of vulnerable people, offering to go to the shops for them and just stealing their money and things like that. Thankfully, though, that doesn't seem to be happening a lot, and everybody is overall disgusted and appalled, and I think it takes a really, really scummy person to do something like that right now. But for the most part, I think most of the stories that are coming out of the woodwork are very nice. People are going above and beyond and looking after each other, and it's quite heartwarming mainly. And that's what we need to be doing. So if you are feeling like you have to self-isolate just to be on the safe side, and particularly if you're, because like in the position I've been in, where I've been like, I'm pretty sure I'm fine, I feel fine. But that's the problem. Everybody who's passed this on felt fine for a while when they had it, and they passed it on. So it doesn't matter if you're feeling fine. If you've got any reason that you think you might have been in touch with someone who does have it or probably has it, then self-isolate. There are ways and means to get around it. There's still teething problems going on with supermarket deliveries and things. I think they're just massively overwhelmed with demand, but that will gradually get better, I am hoping. Because when this was all starting to kick off, I think it was even before we were in full-on lockdown, I thought it might be good to like get an online delivery scheduled now, because one thing that is good about them is you can order your stuff, but then you can amend your order after you've ordered it. So I thought, let's get a slot booked put a bunch of stuff that we know we'll need, cat food, dog food, the staples that we will have run out of by then, loo roll. Things like that, and then closer to the actual delivery date we'll go in and add specific stuff that we need. That was I think before we'd gone full lockdown, I think before we'd started doing these, my delivery date that I was the first one I could get. Several supermarkets didn't have any because they have cut-off points a certain number of weeks ahead. The one I managed to get was the 11th of April. So that is 11 days away now, 12 days away now, and we're already 10 days in. So that's the kind of dates that we're dealing with. But they are adding more deliveries, and they are putting in things in place to sort of be like, are you self-isolating? Do you really need to do this? We're trying to prioritise people who are vulnerable or self-isolating, which technically we have been at the moment, although we've been able to probably get away with it by the fact that we've got other people who live nearby who are going to the shops who've generally sort of been able to say, do you need us to get you anything? And that's kind of what we want to do. But it's just awkward when there's a lot of things that you want. So hopefully by then we'll be able to sort of stock up on the big bulky things that are awkward to get without being dicks about stockpiling. But that is another reason why I can't really blame people for stockpiling when you are maybe having to wait 3 weeks between trips to the supermarket. You might not be stockpiling, you are literally getting what you're going to need for 3 weeks, but that does end up looking like quite a lot of shopping. And it's tricky for us as we both don't drive. So we can get to the local shops, which for the most part will cover us, but there are certain things that you just can't get in the local shops that we need.
But as we've said before, though, this could be a good time to kind of vary up your diet, try something new. So if you're going, well, this has got to last me 6 weeks, I don't want to buy, 6 packets of mince, then maybe get something different. I don't know, like do a curry with a butternut squash instead of
see what you got
chicken,
and see what you can mix in with it and sort of what works.
Try turkey mince, instead of beef mince if you're short on that, or there's so many different things you can swap or try or experiment. So now's maybe a good time to do that.
Yeah, and I think most people, I think people have said that they're going to come out of this very hairy and unkempt and much better cooks. Because I think nobody could rely at the moment purely on takeaways, as we discovered yesterday, ignoring the fact that it would be very expensive, but also they are stretched thin, online shops are stretched thin, so you kind of are at the stage of going, what do I have? Okay, can I make a meal out of that? The thing that will absolutely save your life in all of this is having a well-stocked herbs and spices cupboard, because then even if you make something that's a little bit uninspiring, as long as it's got a bit of flavour, it'll get the job done.
Yeah.
So
garlic's good for that as
well.
Oh
God, look, I already cook with too much garlic. Basically, if the recipe says 1 clove of garlic, put 3. That's my general rule of thumb. Just, you can't have too much garlic. I would eat garlic if I could just garlic soup. So thankfully you like garlic too, otherwise that would be not a very good compatibility.
Wouldn't be ideal.
It wouldn't be ideal.
But
the Marmite thing hasn't destroyed us, so maybe the garlic thing wouldn't.
Yeah, if you started putting Marmite in all of our meals,
I have put Marmite in some of the meals that you've eaten and you haven't known.
Which ones?
I put it in lots of things that I cook.
Yeah, but you barely cook, so it's not really an issue.
I
put it in lots of things that I cook. Did you put it in that Thai green curry?
No, I didn't.
No, that's basically the one meal we've
I've
ever
cooked
made.
other things, but yeah, that's anyway. Let's have that afterwards.
So,
you like to cook?
We'll have what afterwards? Thai green curry?
No. We got the stuff for Thai green curry?
Probably not.
Well, there you go then.
Okay.
Probably not. I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
We've got Thai green curry paste.
Yeah.
And we've got rice. We've got no veg though now. We are now at the stage where we've got no fresh
We've got
food.
some onions and a butternut squash still. I have been meaning to make a vegan chili. I have the recipe for but what's happened is I've been meaning to do this vegan chili every day for about a week. And it just gets to a point in the evening, and I'm sure it's going to be very healthy and very nourishing and very lovely, but because we've been on a slightly weird schedule where we're getting up you're getting up in the afternoon.
Oh God, yeah.
And then we have
which
lunch.
Is gradually, because the clocks have just changed. It's gradually becoming evening.
Yeah, and then we have lunch then about 4 in the afternoon. And by the time we're ready for dinner, I no longer feel like standing in the kitchen and making an epic, because it's now approaching midnight, and I'm like, I just fancy a burger and some junk food. So I've just been, I think we're gonna have to have it for lunch one day, this veggie chili, because I just am never in the mood for cooking it. late at night.
No.
So
No,
we'll have
and
it
I
for
keep
lunch,
saying I'm
which
gonna-
will be Ellie's breakfast.
Yeah.
But
fine.
yeah, we'll have that vegan chili because it's just every time I go, yeah, I'm going to do it tonight, and it just gets beyond.
Yeah, well, I was quite organised and I finally got around to ordering online for delivery of Vital Wheat Gluten, which looks like flour. And you sort of whip it up with an ordinary flour, so I usually use chickpea flour. But you whip that up together with some various whatever flavourings you want, and then you can actually make seitan, which is very high in protein, and you like either bake it or boil it, and then you can use it as a meat replacement. So if I make a big old joint of that, that's me sorted for my protein for the week easily. So I'm going to do that tomorrow, and I bought like 2 kilogram bags. So I'm not going to make all of that in one go, but that means I'm going to be able to make it for a while.
Can you have like a slice of seitan with like a roast dinner?
Yeah, I would do that.
Right.
You can make it with whatever flavourings you want. So you could sort of make it a beefy style one, or you could try and make it a chickeny style one, or you could just do it like making like sort of a nice herby one. It doesn't sort of have to be meaty, but the texture is kind of chewy, like meat.
Because I get up a lot before you. I feel like tomorrow morning you're going to wake up, when you do wake up, to sort of 8 volumes of shopping list.
Okay.
And it's just going to be lots
and then I'm going to go to the
shop,
walk around the shop and go, nope. Nope.
So we'll see. We'll find out. But yeah.
But there's 2 shops in walking distance. I will look around them all, and I would say basically, yeah, if you've put it on the list and they don't have that, but they've got something similar, I'll probably get it anyway and just be like, well, we've got it now. We've got some stuff. Because yeah, we're okay for the boring. Like we wouldn't starve, but it would be very boring now. It would just be like plain rice and beans and lentils, and it's yeah, well they moan about that on I'm a Celebrity, don't they? And we're sort of in that stage now, although we've got onions now,
we're slowly
thanks to my mum.
trying to use up what's in the cupboards, but you run out of fresh ingredients. It's all very well gone, we've had this curry paste in the back of the cupboard for ages, let's use it, but if you haven't got
vegetables and protein to put in it,
then it doesn't really work out. So we need to do some shopping. I'm looking forward to that. I was speaking to someone earlier today, and they brought
spit it out.
Well, if you're like me, you'll be constantly reminded by things from the past that are further away in the past than you thought they were. Things that you thought were fairly recent. And then it turns out they were from ages ago, and you feel old, and it's like a dagger to the heart. If you're familiar with that feeling, like imagine how I felt when someone told me very recently that 2 Girls, 1 Cup is now 20 years old.
Who's
20 years?
Who are you talking to about that?
That is old enough for it to have a big budget reboot starring Melissa McCarthy.
I don't want that to happen.
That is old enough for that to be the theme of a Butlins weekend holiday.
Oh.
Although, from what I'm given to understand by people who've been on them, that is already basically the theme of most Butlins weekend holidays. And
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, it turns out, right, because I panicked and looked into it, and it turns out, no, it's only...
Okay. Panicked and looked into it, did you?
Right? If you don't know 2 Girls, 1 Cup, by the way...
Don't look into
it.
Mum, don't look into it.
You would be better to gouge out your own eyes to be safe rather than watch 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Honestly, it's horrible. But it turns out it's only about 12 years old, so that's basically fine. But
no, it's not fine. It's not fine.
What it did make me think is if you are at a loose end because of isolation, you could probably, just something to do, you could probably recreate 2 Girls, 1 Cup using household items you probably already have in your house.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Nobody do that.
I'll let you know a secret.
What?
I've never seen it. I literally I don't know what happens.
I haven't seen it, but I know what happens in it. I'm not going to talk about it here.
I mean, people have alluded to things, but I don't know. It's not.
I don't know in grim detail, but I know enough.
I've literally never seen it, but you know, have a go.
Don't have a go.
Tell you what. If you've not seen it, don't watch it. Guess from the title what you think it is. And make a video of that.
Give us your guesses in the comments.
And post that up in the that would be great actually.
Don't do that.
No, that could be a lot more wholesome.
It could be very hot. Yeah, you can make wholesome guesses about that.
2 Girls, 1 Cup could be if you've never seen it.
Oh God! Right, I've spent all day with you and we haven't had a conversation like this. You saved them up for this.
Well, I was speaking to my friend Steph yesterday, and he was telling me a story about someone he knows that saves up anecdotes for date night.
Well, does he live with his other half?
But
saves them for like
this
good
is
date
a woman
banter.
that he saw anything. So it wasn't. It's not Steph, but it was someone else that
Right.
he saw a thing about. And I thought, I think another time in my life, I think that's a bit sad. You've got so little going on that you have to save an anecdote for. You can't just say that because you're like worried you won't have anything to talk to your partner about on date night. But currently, I kind of get it because we're not going anywhere or doing anything to have.
Anything that we have to sort of talk about with each other, it's like, I was there.
Yeah, normally that's what you do, isn't it? As a couple, as much as you like spending time together, you go out into the world, you live your lives, you come back and report back and tell your stories. And we haven't got many new stories.
No, so I guess even if we're sort of talking about, I was talking to so and so today, I was like, I was in the other room and I heard you. Like, I get you are having chats on your dog walks. Although I'm probably going to get in on the dog walks now, because to be fair, I was allowed to go on dog walks technically, but I kind of thought safe side. If Lucy wasn't going to be walked, obviously I would have walked her because actually your exercise is still allowed as long as you're not actively symptomatic, which I wasn't, but I had been. But I thought I'll just give it the 7 days just to be on the safe side. So I think that was err on the side of caution. But from tomorrow I can go to the shop, I can come out on dog walks, or I can go and walk the dog for you so you don't have to do it every day. You don't have to, I don't have to, so I might take her to the canal because I did struggle a bit with the woods. The woods is up a hill.
Well, I wouldn't mind coming to the canal.
Well,
I'll walk around the canal.
Well, the only thing I think might happen on the canal is there might be more people because it's like more of a long path, which more people will, and people can come and go on to different stretches of it. But we can go and sort of just do that. That's a very flattering angle.
Yeah.
I hope that you know how when you upload things to YouTube, it just picks a random
Just
up. I hope it does that one. Although it probably picks one at round about the middle. So tomorrow we should try and do something dead on 15 minutes that's just bonkers and hope that it actually
I want to edit this
whole... You can choose which is the but I'm not bothered enough or perfect I'm just not that. I don't think anyone cares that much. To be fair, we get about 70 or 80 views on Facebook, which is more than I expected. On YouTube we get 4.
I kind of want to edit this whole episode down just to the second and a half of us going from back here just loom. So just a second and a half of just into people's faces, and that's all we upload.
I think the way we're entertaining ourselves is getting stranger and stranger, but I'm enjoying it. To tell you the truth, I am starting to find it all kind of funny and enjoyable and a bit weird, but I think we've done very well. We haven't had crosswords. We haven't sort of got in each other's grill about anything. I think once or twice we've maybe sort of sounded a little bit I know, or I was okay, fine. We haven't had a big Barney yet. Although to be fair, we'd never had a Barney, so now would be a terrible time to have our first Barney, but it would be an understandable time to have our first Barney. Yeah. But thankfully no massive kick-offs yet. Maybe he's just been screaming into a pillow when I go in the bath. I don't know. But is that what that noise is? Yeah.
She's on to me. So
I wouldn't blame you.
So
I have that effect on people.
Something else today I saw on Facebook is, and I think it's worth kind of sharing and talking about, is there's a lot of GoFundMe pages and various fundraisers that are springing up. And someone who was involved with fundraising for Calais when, what's the word?
When they had the jungle, when they were trying to kick everybody out of the
basically refugees and were turning up drowned on the shore, and that became a big press thing. And a lot of fundraisers, GoFundMe and things like that, sprung up trying to raise money. But then actually in Calais, where the refugees were, they were only getting about half of the money because a lot of them were bogus, and people were, with the best of intentions, paying money to these fundraisers only for scammers to kind of cream money away.
Check the credentials of where you're giving your money to. Registered charities will be much better to do because they have to sort of account for all of their bookkeeping and all of the money. Whereas if somebody just sets up a GoFundMe, fair enough, if they're setting up a GoFundMe for something that they're going to do and their friends give them money to it and then they go and do the thing, which is kind of what it's designed for, that's fine. But if they go big and then lots of people are putting in, you sort of have they're not really held accountable. So just if you are donating to any of these great causes, I don't want to put anybody off donating to them, but maybe do a little bit of research into, is anybody else doing that same thing, and are they doing it through a registered charity, or is there other places, or can I just look into the credentials of this particular person and how they're going to be accountable?
There are some really good GoFundMe things going on. There's some really good fundraisers. We're not saying don't donate to anything on GoFundMe, but maybe just
do a bit of
if you want,
research.
because it's great if you want to give some money, if you can afford to do that, that's brilliant. But maybe look into it, take a bit of care of where that money's going. That's great.
Yeah. No, yeah, don't be discouraged from doing it. Absolutely not. But yeah, just double check. We've got the time. We've got the time. So yeah, it doesn't take long to just Google and sort of see, or have a chat with the person who's putting together that GoFundMe and sort of just ask, oh yeah, how are you going to sort of show us like how this has been spent and that kind of thing. But yeah, do what you can to help. But actually, as I just sort of said, there may be easier ways that you can help from home. If you are out and about, perhaps if you're still going to work or whatever, and you've got a few neighbours that might need your help, there's these cards that you can print off. That you can just post around your neighbours. So obviously hand sanitize first, then post, or wear gloves or whatever you like. But that just sort of are tick boxes saying, my name is so and so. This is my number. I live at number whatever. Let me know if you need any of these following things. I'm able to go to the shops, or I'm able to ring you up for a chat, or I can make arrangements with somebody else to pick something up for you if you need it. Print those off and give those around. Like, we're sort of a little bit scuppered because most of the tasks that we'd be able to do that would be useful to other people would involve us needing to be able to get in a car and drive somewhere, which neither of us can. But it may be that like someone just wants somebody to talk to. There are people who have been told that they have to self-isolate for 12 weeks because they're in a vulnerable group, which may be due to age or a health condition. They have been told stay in at all costs. And those people, like my gran, for example, might be getting very bored and lonely and might just want to chat. So and that starts close to home. You might have a gran or an auntie or an uncle you don't talk to very often, or a neighbour that you sort of say hello to over the fence but don't really have a chat. Maybe now's the time to sort of give your number and have a chat. And that, I think, like, gives you something to do. Nice and heartwarming, feels nice afterwards, but also you might really genuinely be the only time that person gets to talk to someone that day. And that, I can say, definitely would make a massive difference, because it's only, I can't imagine how I would be dealing with this if I didn't have you in the house with me. Like, I would be FaceTiming all of my friends as I am, but just pottering about the house on your own. And I can FaceTime a lot of friends, maybe people who are a little bit older or aren't so down with tech, aren't able to do that, or also might not have the people to talk to. They might just not have family or friends living nearby.
That is another thing. If you are at a loose end, if you're in furlough from your job, or you can't do your job because it's just not viable right now for whatever reason, something you could do is try and teach an elderly member of your family some new technology.
That's fun.
It's going to be extra hard because you can't actually show them in person. You're going to have to do it over the phone. You're going to be describing a lot of things. It's going to take, but it will kill time, is what I'm saying. You might not even be successful, but that will kill some time. So
who is that? There's a stand-up that just, I can't remember who it is though, unfortunately, so I'm going to do a terrible paraphrase. But just like, imagine trying to explain this to an elderly grandmother. It's like trying to explain to an elderly grandmother how to set the video recorder when you know they don't have a video recorder, but they do have a cake. But I can't remember who it is that says it, so I'm going to have to think. Yeah, it's gosh.
It's a good line.
Yeah, it's a good line. I can't think of who that's from.
Speaking of comedians, a comedian friend
Sorry,
of mine...
didn't mean to steal your joke.
No,
I would give you credit, but
comedian
I don't remember.
friend of mine, Lorna Pritchard, it's her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Lorna. I didn't know
Happy
that.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Lorna. We'll tag you in this.
Yeah, she's self-isolating in our house with a plethora of... I think she's got 3 cats.
She has several. I wouldn't
cats,
like to say desperately how many, but many.
So happy birthday to her, and hope you're getting on okay with the cats. And get in touch, and we'll try and figure out if we can.
I wonder if we can do remote
Settlers of Catan over.
Because if we've just got one board and a camera on it, and perhaps we can sort of just direct each other, because rolling the dice and stuff and deciding what to do on bartering we can do by FaceTime. Let's make this happen. So yes,
but we'll probably contact her directly for that.
Yeah, maybe. Hoping that she sees this 29 minutes in as well. That's quite a bold move. We'll probably tell her.
Before we go, we should say the Welsh Assembly.
Oh yes. Good point. So I mentioned a few times in this that there's a daily press conference happening every day that the government are sort of having to just update us all on what's going on. That's great. But one of the things that has been a bit tricky for us is they've had deputy chief medical officers and all of that, and sort of cabinet ministers for health. But healthcare in Wales is a devolved issue. So NHS stuff in Wales is actually decided by the Welsh Assembly.
Yeah, if you hadn't guessed from our thick accents, we are based in Wales. That's where we're doing this from.
You're not from here. What's my excuse? I am born and raised in Newport, and nobody believes me when I tell them that. I blame
Because
university.
you're quite smart.
Ah, don't be me. Right.
It's a dig on Newport.
I know it is. I know it is, and I don't
Because
approve.
eventually I'm gonna have to leave the house again.
Yeah, it's safe now, but yeah.
But they're now gonna do Welsh daily briefings,
Yes.
specific Welsh one. It's gonna be hosted by the actor who played the drug dealer in Publicum.
That's not even how you say that.
Publicum.
No, that's not how you say that.
Publicum.
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 Never mind.
Publicum. Publicum, guys.
Right, okay, we are off now, I think. But yeah,
Publicum,
so
everybody.
oh god, don't let that. That's not a thing. It's don't let it be a thing.
I'm gonna say
don't,
little else.
Don't encourage
between
him.
now and tomorrow.
Oh
Publicum.
god, he's probably telling the truth. He will commit to a
Publicum.
joke. He's committing to the bit, guys.
Publicum.
Right, ignore him. Bye, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Publicum.